Hi guys, Chris here back with another video. So today's video, how to reverse type 2 diabetes in 5 easy steps. Now that I call it easy, it might not be easy, but it's all about your mindset and your perspective going into it. So let's start the video off then. So type 2 diabetes, what is type 2 diabetes? Because it's important that we really understand the condition before we look into the actual solutions around it. Type 2 diabetes is essentially a condition in which the individual who has it is made insulin resistant by a high fat diet. So what happens is the individual in question who's consumed too much fat, most likely from animal sources, and what happens is the fat floods the body and it can cover and clog the different cells within the body. So what happens is that the insulin that the person produces is basically inhibited, so that it's not able to bring the sugar into the cell, and as a result what happens is the blood sugars then begin to rise. Now, the person's body can then pump out more insulin to try and get the sugar into the cell, and basically it becomes ineffective and the person becomes type 2 and their blood sugars become consistently high. Type 2 diabetes is never ever caused by carbohydrates. You need to understand that it's always caused by fat and by animal products. So here are my 5 steps, guys, to reverse type 2 diabetes for good. Number 1, go vegan. So when you eat a vegan diet, you have a greatly reduced chance of type 2 diabetes. How much? 72%. That's right, guys. So vegans have 72% less diabetes than meat eaters. Why is that? It's because when you eat a vegan diet, you're not eating meat, fish, chicken, eggs, milk or dairy, which induce insulin resistance, which cover and clog the cells. If you look at vegans, they have the lowest rates, like I said, and when people actually go on a vegan diet, they can reverse their type 2. So first step then, make sure you cut out all of those animal products. What I would say is go around your house now, go around your pantry, bin all of them, don't eat them, just don't give them to other people, just bin them, get rid of them completely. Step 2, guys, is to go whole food. So what do I mean by whole food then? Well, the thing that you need to realize, guys, is that you have whole foods and then you have processed foods. So processed foods are foods where they're usually a combination of different foods, or they're basically man-made foods where different things have been stripped out of them. Whereas a whole food would be like a banana or an apple or a potato or just some brown rice. Whole food is the natural food that we are supposed to eat, that we are designed to eat, and is healthy for us. When you eat processed foods, they tend to be deficient in essential, fiber, vitamins, minerals. In addition to that, a lot of processed food actually contains animal products such as whey protein, which is a very popular additive in a lot of processed foods. So when you eat processed foods, even on a vegan diet, you risk jeopardizing your health in many respects, because one, it's not always easy to understand the different chemicals and ingredients that are in them, because the labels can be very confusing. But there's also the risk of contamination, whereas when you just eat a whole banana, there's no danger of there being any whey protein in that, or any kind of animal products, or gelatin or things like of that nature. So whole food is always best with type 2 diabetes. Whole food is rich in fiber and is what you want to be eating every single day. So whole food, like I said, guys, would be fruits, starches like potatoes, rice, corn, vegetables like broccolis, carrots, etc. The third tip, guys, to reverse type 2 diabetes for good is to eat high carb, low fat. So like I said at the start of the video, type 2 diabetes is caused by high fat. So the answer to that is to eat high carb, low fat. Like I said before, vegans have the lowest rates of type 2 diabetes, and when you look around the world, the countries with the highest carbohydrate consumption and the lowest amount of fat consumption, as well as the lowest animal product consumption, have the lowest rates of type 2 diabetes by far. And when you actually look at them and watch them eat more animal products, you can actually see their rates of type 2 diabetes begin to increase. And if you actually watch people from Africa or Asia come to our countries, and you watch them start to eat like us, high fat, high protein animal products, you see their type 2 diabetes rates increase to the point where they match us as well. So type 2 diabetes isn't, a white thing. It's something that can affect black people and Asians as well when they eat a Western diet. So high carb, low fat. And what do I mean specifically by high carb and low fat? I mean high carb should be minimum 80% of calories coming from carbohydrates, and no more than 10% of calories should come from fat. Like I said earlier on, fat causes insulin resistance. It covers and clogs the cells. It stops the insulin from doing its job properly. So the less fat you have in your diet, the more insulin sensitive you will be, which means that you can then reverse your type 2 diabetes. And you need to understand that you only need small amounts of fat. When you eat a high carb, low fat diet, you will get all the fat you need. There's no such thing as a fat deficiency on a whole food, plant-based, high carb, low fat diet. It does not happen. And for many of you who are watching this who are suffering from type 2 diabetes, you're probably already likely overweight as well. And I don't mean that in a nasty or judgmental way, because I spent most of my life being overweight, on and off, before I became vegan. What I'm trying to say is that you will get sufficient fat that you need, but in addition to that, your body usually stores fat as well, such as omega-3 and 6, so that you'd always have reserves there if your body needed it. And likewise, by eating low fat, it will also help you to lose weight. There's a good saying that Dr. John McDougall has, who I highly recommend you follow. And he always says the fat you eat is the fat you wear, which is a very scientific statement to make. So the benefits also of going high carb, low fat is you would lose weight more likely, eat more easily, so definitely long term, and you'd also have many other health benefits with regards to hypertension and heart disease. And my fourth tip, guys, for reversing type 2 diabetes is to use Chronometer. So what is Chronometer? Chronometer.com is a really good website where you can log all of your food. And what I want you to do, guys, if you've got type 2 diabetes, is to weigh all the food you eat and log it on Chronometer. Why? Without having numbers, without having data, there's no way you can be objective in any way, shape or form. You can't turn around and tell me I eat a high carb, low fat diet if you don't record what you eat on a daily basis. And the fact you're type 2 would indicate to me that you're not already eating that diet, and you probably don't have that much exposure to it, so you don't really know what a high carb diet truly is. So if you don't use Chronometer or some other equivalent, the danger is that you actually end up eating high fat. You're going to end up eating more fat than you need, more fat than you should do, and then you'll still have the insulin resistance. So the only way you can be objective about this, if you want to reverse your diabetes, is to make sure you log it every single day. Now then, I know that sounds like a bit of a chore, but I've been type 1 diabetic now since November, since April 2014, but I went vegan November 2014, and since November 2014 I've recorded my food religiously on Chronometer every single day, and it's really easy. It's not too much of a chore. I weigh all my food out, I log it on there, and I can see exactly the percentage of carbohydrates, fat, protein, vitamins, minerals, etc., so that I can be objective about my own health, objective about my own numbers. And if you're someone who's type 2 and watching this and uses insulin, it really does make sense that you use that so that you can actually work out specifically how much insulin you do or do not need. Remember, the only way to be objective is with numbers. You cannot be objective by guessing. It doesn't work that way. So aim for 80% minimum of carbs coming from carbohydrates, 10% calories maximum coming from fat, and if you can, ideally you would even have about 90% calories coming from carbohydrates and only about 5 to 6% calories coming from fat at the most, because you need very small amounts of fat and you need very small amounts of protein as well. And tip number 5, guys, to reverse type 2 diabetes is to get out every single day and move your body. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything extreme like CrossFit or Insanity or P90X. Just go out for a walk every single day. Try and get out for half an hour before work, half an hour during lunchtime, or half an hour in the evening. Try get outside every day and move your body. If you're watching this and you have type 2, you're most likely going to be overweight as well. You probably have hypertension. I don't really recommend you do running, because running can put a lot of strain and stress on your joints if you're a heavy person. You're much better off with a bicycle, in addition to that, you can carry sugar and water when you're on your bicycle in case you get thirsty. If you get low blood sugars, it's more easy to carry stuff around on you. It's safe on your knees and your joints, and it's personally, in my opinion, it's a lot more enjoyable. So that's it, guys, for this video. Like I said, type 2 diabetes is nearly always caused the vast majority of the time by animal products: meat, fish, chicken, eggs, milk and dairy, and processed junk food, which overwhelmingly usually contains animal products as well, like eggs and milk and whey protein, which comes from milk. These foods, type 2 diabetes is never caused by carbohydrates, it's never caused by fruit, it's never caused by potatoes, it's never caused by sugar. Type 2 diabetes is always caused, in the overwhelming vast majority of cases, always animal products, and the solution is always a high carb, low fat, low protein, high fiber, whole food, plant-based vegan diet. So just run through that again, guys. So tip number 1, go vegan, no animal products of any kind. Number 2, go whole food, get rid of all of the processed junk food that you have in your house. Eat whole foods like bananas and apples, potatoes, rice, grains, vegetables. That way you can take ownership of what's going into your body. Number 3, eat high carb, low fat. Didn't mean high fat. Always eat high carb, low fat. Fat is the problem. Carbs are never the problem. It's always fat that's the problem. So high carb, low fat. No more than 10% calories max coming from fat, and ideally only get 5% calories coming from fat. Number 4, go on chronometer so you can be objective about your health, be objective about your numbers. And the last one, guys, number 5, go out every single day and just move your body. Just go for a walk at a minimum each day. Get outside in the sunshine. If it's cold, wrap up. Take some sugar out with you just in case your blood sugars get low. Just move that body. Remember, the human body is a machine. It's designed to be moved. It's not designed to be sat down all day long. If you type 2 and you're struggling, please watch my channel. I'll give you as much help as I can. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Remember, you can follow me at High Carb Jedi on Twitter and Instagram if you want to see what I eat every single day for insulin sensitivity, which will reverse your type 2 diabetes. Follow me on Instagram and see the food I eat every single day. Remember, always ask me questions. I have a website called highcarbdiabetic.com, which is a work in progress, but I'm going to put out different articles on there to help people, different blog posts. If you need any help, please engage with me in the comments or over social media. Also check out Dr. John McDougall and Dr. Neil Bernard, as well as Dr. Michael Greger. These doctors are experts at reversing diabetes, as well as also reversing hypertension and heart disease and many other medical conditions, and I'll put links to them in the description below. So that's it, guys. That is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Until next time, guys, God bless, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye now. Why do diabetics get low blood sugars in their sleep? So often on the internet, on Facebook or YouTube, wherever, I'll see different comments from people complaining about how they get low blood sugars, clog the different cells within the body. So what happens is that the insulin that the person produces is basically inhibited, so that it's not able to bring the sugar into the cell, and as a result what happens is the blood sugars then begin to rise. Now, the person's body can then pump out more insulin to try and get the sugar into the cell, and basically it becomes ineffective and the person becomes type 2 and their blood sugars become consistently high. Type 2 diabetes is never ever caused by carbohydrates. You need to understand that it's always caused by fat and by animal products. So here are my 5 steps, guys, to reverse type 2 diabetes for good. Number 1, go vegan. So when you eat a vegan diet, you have a greatly reduced chance of type 2 diabetes. How much? 72%. That's right, guys. So vegans have 72% less diabetes than meat eaters. Why is that? It's because when you eat a vegan, before we look into the actual solutions around it, type 2 diabetes is essentially a condition in which the individual who has it is made insulin resistant by a high fat diet. So what happens is the individual in question who's consumed too much fat, most likely from animal sources, and what happens is the fat floods the body and it can cover and Hi guys, Chris here, back with another video. So today's video, how to reverse type 2 diabetes in 5 easy steps. Now that I call it easy, it might not be easy, but it's all about your mindset and your perspective going into it. So let's start the video off then. So type 2 diabetes, what is type 2 diabetes? Because it's important that we really understand the condition